Microsoft just announced a new feature called Recall. It is going to be built into Windows and it watches everything that you do so that you can recall it using AI. Anything you do in the Windows environment can now be recalled and queried against with AI. Obviously, there's some privacy and security concerns, but if it's secure and it's running locally, I could be open to it. So let's watch the demo and then I'll give you my thoughts.
And over 40 new on-device AI models, the PC can now process and reason over information in a way it has never been able to do before. It actually understands your context and your intent. In other words, the PC better adapts to you, as Satya said, versus you having to adapt to it. Let's show you what we mean through our new feature, Recall. Now, let me set it up. The opportunity for Recall starts simply by seeking to solve one of the most frustrating problems that we encounter daily, right? Searching for a file or a photo or an email or even a web page from just a few days ago, it should be simple, but often it's just not. You have to remember, hey, where did I put that file folder? Or where was it in many of my browser tabs that were open?
Yeah, so honestly, this is a problem I face every single day. I have tons of tabs open, tons of windows open, emails that I've written that I just can't remember which email address was it from and who was it to, and I just have a lot going on and I forget. So this would be an amazing feature and I'm really excited, but I'm also a little bit apprehensive given the privacy concerns. Now, if you're familiar with the company Rewind AI, they have a product that is essentially this. And they just announced a hardware pendant that kind of does a lot of the same thing, but in your real life. Now, I'm wondering if they're making the switch towards this pendant, which is more of a consumer end user hardware device, because they knew Windows was going to build this into Windows natively. Let's keep watching.
Or worse, I have to go through thousands of emails to try and find what we're doing. And you guys have had that problem, right? And then, worse, we've created these cumbersome workarounds for this very human problem. We email ourselves to remind ourselves, or we keep a lot of browser tabs open, which clutter the experience and they actually slow the PC down. Even worse, some of us write notes that we put on our computer just to remind ourselves. And yet, I find it ironic that you can search for literally millions of documents on the internet and find literally anything in sub-second time. So why is that? And we stopped and asked ourselves. And really, at the end, the foundation level, it's because the ways PCs store content is not aligned with how we remember and connect with information as humans. PCs like to organize information in database structures, like File Explorer, while our minds think more in relationships. We remember information in relation to people, time, and places. We're inherently more visual, and we create associations and connections that are unique to each of our life experiences. With Recall, we're going to leverage the power of AI and the new system performance to make it possible to access virtually anything you have ever seen on your PC. It's going to be, honestly, as if you have photographic memory. And the ability to access this memory with simply your words in a form that's natural for you. And Recall is only going to be possible on these advanced PCs. To show you Recall, I'd like to welcome our product leader on Windows who built this incredible new capability, Carolina Hernandez. Welcome.
All right, so I have a few questions and I have a few thoughts so far. Recall sounds cool. I want to know if it's storing everything locally, and I'm sure they're going to touch on that. I also want to know, how are they running the inference? Are they using GPT-4o? And if so, does that mean that everything has to be sent off and they have to hit an API each time? Then they also talk about these NPUs, which are on-device chips powering Copilot+. But then if they have on-device chips, what are they using the API for? So it's a little bit confusing, and I need to do a little bit more research into it, because the more that they're powering their PCs with chips, the more I think they're running more of the model locally, which I am all about. That is going to decrease latency, that is going to increase privacy and security. So I really hope that they continue to invest in on-device large language models. Let's keep watching.
Welcome, Carolina. Thanks, Carolina. Give us an overview of Recall, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. My team developed Recall to help you find anything you have ever seen or done on your PC. We leverage the power of the NPU to ensure content stays on your device.
Okay, so there already, right away, she addressed the big elephant in the room. The content stays on the device. The NPU is powering the large language model. That's awesome. Which model are they using? Maybe Phi? That would be awesome. And I really don't want all of that information being shipped off to OpenAI servers.
which makes the experience fast and maintains your privacy. Okay, let me show you a few ways that Recall helps me. Like all of you, I am constantly jumping between different tasks throughout my day. Managing my time between a career I am passionate about, staying connected with my family and friends around the world, and the hobbies that I love. Recall helps me get through all these tasks more quickly. My family and I have been searching for the perfect dress for my grandmother, who lives in Colombia, to wear at my cousin's wedding. I've been browsing Pinterest and shopping websites for some options that I can share with her. After looking for options for a few weeks, I wanted to go back and
Why always the shopping use case? Why? Why is that the go-to use case for all of these demos? It's so boring. Stop it. Stop it, tech companies. Give me a better use case. Give me something more fun, more interesting, more exciting. No more shopping. All right, I'm done ranting. Let's keep going.
see some of the favorite blue dresses I have found, but I didn't keep all my browser tabs open. With Recall, I can just search for blue dress, and it pulls together all the dresses I have seen. Now, Grandma decided that she wanted to get the awesome pantsuit that we shared in our Discord chat about.
All right, I gotta be honest, this seems amazing. I would use this like crazy. And I am mainly a Mac user, but all of these announcements that Microsoft is making makes me want to use my PC more often. I have a beast of a PC next to me, and it really stays off most of the time because my Mac is super fast and I'm just so much more used to the Mac environment, especially for development. But the more I see these features and the more amazing products that Microsoft is announcing and going to be releasing in the next few months, the more I want to use that PC. So this is kind of a really good sign for Microsoft, at least from my perspective. Now, I also think about what is Apple doing? I can't wait until they start releasing some of this functionality natively into Siri, into Mac OS, into iOS, but we have nothing, no information from them yet. So to me, they are just falling behind. And we hear about partnerships with OpenAI, we hear about partnerships with Google, but why aren't they doing their own models? I just feel like Microsoft is running laps around Apple at this point. But maybe Apple's going to drop something and it's going to be revolutionary. We'll see.
Now, scrolling through multiple weeks of chat messages to find that specific dress would have taken an eternity. Instead, with Recall, it was easy. I refined my search using descriptive language. Blue pantsuit with a sequin lace from Abuelita. And as you can see, Recall quickly found the Discord chat my family and I were using to discuss the options. And here it is, the dress that Abuelita liked.
Yeah, so I think the way that Recall is going to work is it's not actually getting the data from each of these apps, although I could be wrong. This is just my assumption. It might just be taking pictures, just constantly recording your screen, and then it could extract the text from it, but it's not actually storing kind of the raw structured data.
Recall analyzes the snapshot, and it gives me options for what I can do next.
Yeah, okay, so she said it right there. Recall analyzes the snapshot. So it is just taking photos all the time. And you can see right here, there's kind of like a timeline. And I wonder how long that timeline is. I wonder what the data retention policies are going to be, how custom you can set them, how private they truly are. So these are all questions that I have, and hopefully they'll be answered as we get more information.
In this case, I want to click the link, which takes me back to the right web page where I can make the purchase. And now, Grandma has a gorgeous outfit for the wedding.
This is a great example, Carolina, that I think is going to show how Recall is so helpful for people. But one thing I'm not sure people noticed is you used the word peacock, but it wasn't anywhere in what you were searching for. How did Recall recognize that, and what's going on behind the covers?
Yeah, absolutely. So Recall can understand that peacock is in the family of the blue hues, so it creates that semantic association that is used to help me find the dress.
All right, she's basically just explaining what large language models are really good at. So obviously it's going to work well there, but not sure why she's having to explain it given this is probably a mostly developer-focused audience.
Recall is also essential for me at work. Like many of you, my team and I spend a ton of time collaborating on presentations and documents. For example, over the past few weeks, we have been collaborating on a presentation for a product pitch. The deck was created by my partners in the marketing team, and when I finally got around to add my content, I could not figure out where to look for the deck. I tried to remember, was the deck shared in the call? Maybe I had seen it in an email, or maybe.
Yeah, this is an exact use case that I would use it for. A problem that I have all the time. My documents are everywhere. My files are everywhere. The videos I've seen, everything is just everywhere, and it's always very hard to find. So I'm getting more and more excited about this feature. One thing I want to point out is look at everybody on their phones, and they're all using iPhones. So Apple, really, it's your game to lose.
I don't really have time to spend clicking around, but with Recall, I no longer have to go on a searching expedition. I remembered in the outline, we had added a purple chart with writing, a chart with purple writing. And to find the PowerPoint, all I had to do was simply use my voice to search for that clue that I remember. In a few seconds, Recall found the deck for me. And notice that it took me to the exact slide that I remember, saving me even more time. Now, to put the finishing touches, I wanted to add the final marketing line, but couldn't remember the exact words. I did remember that Nikki shared it in the planning meeting on Teams last Tuesday. With Timeline and Recall, I was able to scroll back in time and find the snapshot of that meeting. I was then able to quickly copy that quote and add it to the deck. And then once again, Recall made it easier for me to find the information just using the clues that I remember. Now, these are just two of the examples of how I use Recall on a daily basis.
Thank you so much, Carolina.
All right, it's very impressive. Definitely. I'm going to use it. I'm usually pretty privacy and security focused, but if once I read over all of the details, the specs, if I know everything's being stored locally, if I know all the inferences being run locally, I think I'm open to it. And now they are going to talk about being able to trust it. So let's watch.
You have to be able to trust it with your data and your information. So we've built Recall with responsible AI principles and aligned it with our standards. And we're taking a very conservative approach. We're going to keep your Recall index private and local and secure on just the device. We won't use any of that information to train any AI models. And we put you completely in control with the ability to edit and delete anything that has been captured.
That is fantastic. I'm sure there's going to be points where I don't want things stored, very sensitive information, whatever it is. Now you have the ability to edit and delete, and everything's stored locally anyways. So that is Microsoft's new Recall feature. I can't wait to test it out. I think it's going to be a huge productivity increase for me. Does that mean my PC might become my main driver computer? Possibly, we'll find out. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.